In the long history of the Jedi Order, one master stands apart, and not just because of his iconic purple lightsaber. He's the Jedi who cornered a Dark Lord of the Sith and gained the upper hand in single combat. Mace Windu, the champion of the Jedi Order, was a warrior whose power was said to be rivaled only by Grandmaster Yoda. But when it came to a fight, was he actually the most effective Jedi of his time? The evidence points to something more complicated than just being number two. From a lightsaber form so dangerous it walked the edge of the dark side, to a rare force ability that let him see the breaking points in reality itself, Mace Windu's true strength was a paradox. He was a weapon forged by the light, but one that reached its full potential by touching the darkness. So let's do a definitive breakdown of Mace Windu's true power, using canon and lore to explain why he was the Jedi who could stare down a Sith Lord at the height of his power. Mace Windu was the Jedi Order's greatest champion, a warrior whose power was second only to Yoda. But what made him so formidable? It turns out he wasn't just a master duelist. He was a master of a fighting style that danced on the very edge of the dark side, turning a Sith's own hatred against them. And it was this unique mastery that allowed him to do what even Yoda couldn't: stand over a disarmed and defeated Darth Sidious. So, how did he pull it off? Was it just skill, or was it something more? We're about to find out. To understand Mace Windu's power, you have to start with his lightsaber. In an order filled with the greatest duelists in the galaxy, Windu was always in the conversation for the best. While Yoda had the reputation, many argued Windu was his superior in pure swordsmanship. His skill wasn't just practice, it was a philosophy embodied in a lightsaber form he helped create: Vaapad. Vaapad is a variant of Form 7, also known as Juyo. Juyo is the most aggressive and unpredictable of the 7 lightsaber forms. It requires immense energy and a deep well of emotion to draw from. For that reason, most Jedi stayed away from it. It was considered a dangerous path, one that led perilously close to the dark side. The passion and ferocity it required were the very things Jedi were trained to control. But Mace Windu didn't just practice Form 7. He perfected it. He created Vaapad, which he described as more than a fighting style. It was a state of mind. When facing a dark side opponent, Vaapad allowed Windu to take the torrent of fury and hatred coming at him and channel it back into his own attack. He wasn't just fighting with his own strength, he was fighting with his opponent's too. This concept is often described in the lore as creating a superconducting loop of energy. This is what set him apart. While other Jedi shielded themselves from the dark side, Windu found a way to use its energy without being corrupted. It was an incredibly fine line to walk. In Legends, the Jedi Master Sora Bulk, who helped develop the form, actually fell to the dark side, unable to handle the strain. That Windu could master it speaks to his incredible discipline. Vaapad made him uniquely equipped to face a Sith Lord, turning their greatest weapon, their connection to the dark side, into their own undoing. If Vaapad was the perfect weapon, then Mace Windu's other signature ability was the perfect targeting system: Shatterpoint. This power originated in the Legends expanded universe, but has since been referenced in modern Star Wars canon. Shatterpoint is the rare force ability to see the fault lines in the universe, not literal cracks, but metaphorical fractures. These are the critical weaknesses in an object, a person, or even a situation. A Jedi with this power could see the exact point on a wall that would make it crumble, or the one critical moment that would decide a battle. For Mace Windu, it was an innate talent, a unique way of seeing the world. The Legends novel Shatterpoint explored this power in depth, showing Windu as a master strategist who could identify the linchpin of any conflict. While its mechanics are still being explored in the new canon, its function remains the same, providing a decisive edge. In the 2022 novel Brotherhood, Chancellor Palpatine even mockingly acknowledges it, saying Master Windu can go on for hours about Shatterpoints. This not only confirms the ability in canon, but shows his enemies were well aware of it. Shatterpoint complemented Vaapad perfectly. Vaapad gave Windu the power to overwhelm an opponent, while Shatterpoint told him exactly where and when to strike. He didn't just swing his lightsaber with immense force. He swung it at the precise focal point of his enemy's weakness. This combination of overwhelming power and preternatural insight is what made him more than just a master duelist. It made him the Jedi Order's definitive champion. A warrior's reputation is built on their victories, and Mace Windu's record speaks for itself. His entire career during the Clone Wars was defined by his presence on the front lines, turning the tide of battle. On Geonosis, in the war's opening moments, Windu was a force of nature. While other Jedi were being overwhelmed by droids, Windu moved through the chaos with deadly purpose, famously confronting and dispatching the bounty hunter Jango Fett with an ease that was almost casual. His power wasn't always restrained. In an episode of the Clone Wars, Windu unleashed a devastating telekinetic blast on General Grievous. It was a brutal application of the Force that was powerful enough to dent the General's chest plates and send him flying. While it was a stunning display of power, the popular fan theory that this is what gave Grievous his infamous cough isn't supported by current canon. The cough's origin is tied to other events in Legends, or is simply part of his cyborg condition. But the main event, the feat that cements his legacy, is the duel with Darth Sidious in Revenge of the Sith. When Windu and 3 other Jedi Masters confronted Palpatine, Sidious exploded with dark side energy, cutting down Windu's companions in seconds. Yet, Windu stood his ground. The duel that follows is one of the most debated moments in Star Wars, with many arguing Sidious threw the fight to manipulate Anakin. However, the evidence suggests otherwise. George Lucas himself stated that Mace overpowered Palpatine. Windu's Vaapad was the perfect counter to Sidious's dark side fury. He took the Sith Lord's rage and channeled it right back at him, overwhelming Sidious with his own energy. The duel ends with Windu disarming Sidious and holding him at the point of his blade. The victory in that moment was legitimate. It was only Anakin's betrayal, severing Windu's arm, that allowed Sidious to turn the tables. Mace Windu had won the duel. He had overpowered the most powerful Sith Lord in a millennium, proving himself the ultimate champion of the Jedi. So, where does this put Mace Windu in the Jedi power rankings? In behind-the-scenes commentary, George Lucas used a tier system to describe the combat abilities of his characters, placing Yoda and Sidious at the highest level, a 9, with Windu right behind them as a level 8. This suggests that in terms of raw, overall connection to the Force, Yoda was his superior. But power isn't just one thing. While Yoda was more powerful in the Force overall, a strong argument can be made that Windu was the superior duelist, especially against a Darksider. The duel with Sidious is the ultimate proof. Yoda faced Sidious later, and their battle ended in a stalemate, forcing Yoda into exile. Windu, on the other hand, decisively won his duel before Anakin intervened. This is because Windu was a specialist. His mastery of Vaapad gave him a unique situational advantage that even Yoda didn't possess. Think of it this way. Yoda was the Grandmaster, a being of immense power in all aspects of the Force. Mace Windu was the Order's champion, the sharpened sword designed for one purpose, to destroy the Sith. Against most opponents, Yoda's greater power would likely win the day. But in a direct fight with a powerful Sith Lord like Darth Sidious, Mace Windu's specialized skills made him the more effective combatant. He wasn't just the Jedi's champion. He was the perfect weapon for their greatest war. Mace Windu's power wasn't just his connection to the Force, but his mastery over the razor-thin line between light and dark. His unparalleled skill with a lightsaber, fueled by a form that turned a Sith's greatest strength into a fatal weakness, made him a truly unique warrior. This, combined with his ability to see the fractures in his enemies, made him the definitive champion of the Jedi Order. He stood where few others could, and for one critical moment held the fate of the galaxy in his hand, having truly overpowered the Dark Lord of the Sith. But what do you think? Did Mace Windu genuinely win, only to be undone by betrayal? Or was he another pawn in Palpatine's grand plan? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed this deep dive into Star Wars lore, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.